Getting into a Renault Twingo at 6'3" and 24 stone is not the easiest thing, but I'm kind of in. It's another incredibly miserable, rainy day today, but we are about 5 miles away from where we're headed to Clitheroe, so hopefully I'll have an eyes on this little Twingo quite shortly. Fingers crossed this is a nice little thing. We're paying 1,200 quid for this, or £1,200. Not quite sure what that equates to in dollars if you're watching in the States, but I'll try and put it up in the video. It's going to be a laugh for me trying to fit into this little Twingo. These things are smaller than a social media personality's brain, so yeah, we'll have to do a little video of my fat 24 stone ass getting in and out of this thing. I hope you enjoy this. I'm going to do this just for the entertainment value for you guys at home. If you guys ever watch any porn, things like MILF Hunter, we are now officially Twingo Hunter. But MILF Hunter and Twingo Hunter has been successful because there is a Twingo. Do you love it? Tiny, isn't it? Petrol time, which is not uncommon on the road for us. Diesel P7. What? Can do. There is the mighty Renault Twingo. What a weapon that is, look at it. Honestly, that looks cool as hell. I really, really love it. Do you love it? Cute. Look at these speed camera guys up here. Honestly, sat on a corner on a really long straight road. Need to get a job. Get a job. Does my nutting. Tax revenue generating, money generating con. Literally middle of nowhere. Absolute joke. Nicola's up ahead now in the little Twingo. What a machine. I absolutely love it. It was straight piped originally, apparently, and I'm not sure we've got the straight pipe with it. We may still have the straight pipe with it. Don't know if it's in the boot of that car. However, it was a bit drony apparently, so he swapped it out and he's put a power flow back box back on the car, and there's a little rumble there, but it's not too loud, so yeah, it sounds quite nice. Straight pipe would probably be awesome. She loves it, loves that car, absolutely in her element in the Twingo power. This should be quite funny because I'm driving the Renault Twingo RS and I'm going over to Usher's, but I've pulled the seat. He thinks I won't fit in this, so I've pulled the seat as far forward as I can and made the backrest as upright as I can so that my head's like stuck up in the roof. I just want to pull up and see the look on his face just for the crack. I'm going to put the windows down. Look at this. I don't know if you can see. I actually can't drive anymore now. Steering wheel's touching my stomach. It's funny as hell, this. I hope he's here. He's probably not going to be here now. Oh man, he's not here. I do not believe it.
Santa has lost his sleigh and replaced it with a rollabout.
I can't get out! How do I get out?
You're such a fool.
Do you love it?
Not as much as you.
It's fucking awesome, honestly. Oh, let me just see if I can suss out what's going on here.
They're so small. So small. Do you want a shoe on? Tiny arm there.
Oh, it's quality. Yeah, it's compact and bijou. Let me start by saying that Renault make the best hot hatchbacks in the world. I've said this before, I make no apologies for it. You can disagree if you like, and you can comment below and tell me which hatchbacks you think are the best hot hatches in the world. But for me, it's the Renault range. Now, I love the Clio 197 and Clio 200. I love them again. But right now, as you've seen, I'm in a Renault Twingo RS 133, the little baby brother of the Renault range. And this car was designed effectively to get younger drivers into driving performance hatchbacks without some of the killer insurance and running costs of their more expensive, bigger brothers and sisters. Renault did an amazing job with this car because it handles so well. The engine is snappy but not crazily performance orientated. And there's enough here as a driver's car to really keep a younger driver engaged. But it's not just about the younger drivers. I certainly do not fall into the younger age category at 44. No wisecrack jokes about looking like I'm in my mid-70s. But the way this drives, honestly, this thing keeps a little place in my heart. I absolutely love these, even though, joking aside, they are a little bit tight once you're inside them. Now, in terms of the looks on this car, it looks amazing too, and I'm going to show you around the car shortly. So there she is, Renault Twingo RS 133. A couple of custom mods on this. Let me show you this. So first of all, down here is a customised Cupra splitter which has been modified to go onto the front of the car, which definitely makes the front end look a lot better indeed. These are normally black, these have been painted a sort of gunmetal grey, slightly different again. Gloss black wheels which do need a refurbishment, but that will be getting done on this car. Car's actually now sold, to be honest. We've just had the smart repair guys out today, just doing a little bit of smart repair on this back end, which now looks absolutely mint. So all of this has been done. There was some damage down here, I don't know if you saw in the video, so that's actually been done. And the power flow exhaust, which makes it sound a lot better indeed. We've also got this high level spoiler here, which is a little bit different from standard, and I think probably makes the car. And then also customised aerial as well. So overall, it's finished in glacier white. Probably one of the best colours on the Twingo, if not the best colour on the Twingo, to be honest. Let me just show you inside on this. There you go. Look at those Renault seats. They are absolutely awesome. They're in great condition for 100,000 miles on this car, by the way. Look at that. No wear on them whatsoever. Beautiful little pedal detail down there. And it's a fantastic little interior. This has got this rear strut bracing which stops the actual seats from coming all the way back, but normally you can slide these seats quite far back. As they're on rails, it gives you less boot space and more leg room, or conversely you can do it the other way and have single arm all the way. Single arm, baby. The interior on this car, it's actually really nice. These seats are absolutely fantastic. They're probably some of my favourite seats out of the Renault range. I really like the way that they feel. They're incredibly comfortable. They're not too tight either for a big lad, despite the fact it's a tiny car. The bolsters have got plenty of grip in them. They look great too. They're a simple design. They're quite chunky. They're thick. Plenty of padding. The dash is really simple. We've got this massive rev counter sat in the middle, which is really easy to read and looks great. And then we've got the rest of it obviously off on the centre console with your speedo, etc. kind of thrown in there. Everything's really simple. We've got an auxiliary plug-in on the stereo as well. Standard stereo still in this. So there's a couple of mod cons in terms of being able to listen to your tunes and also just rag about. The quality of the plastics is okay for what it is. And again, actually this thing's really clean inside. It's been kept in pretty good order. We just gave it a once over and it's a very nice place to be. There's bags of visibility, and I know that's not what you're interested in, but it's actually really quite a nice thing to drive. It's a pleasant place to be. I'll talk you through why I really like this car, but I'm going to talk to you about the negatives on this car as well. Now, for Renault to make this car cheap to insure, they effectively dropped the price of the car and kept it relatively cheap, and also they put a less powerful engine in than is in the Clios. Now you're going to hear this engine go now. So 5,000 revs, 6,000 revs. I'm at 56 miles an hour, coming up to 6,000. I'm just pulling out onto a slip road. That power flow exhaust really does help, but it's on these dual carriageways that you notice that this car is definitely lacking in power. The noise is enough to keep you stimulated though, but the car's not quick enough to really get you into any kind of major trouble. Let's talk about performance on this car. With 133 brake horsepower, it's never going to be destructively fast, that is for sure. But there's enough poke there because the car only weighs 1,050 kilograms, which is lighter than an empty crisp packet. Well, it weighs that until I get in, and it weighs considerably more. But the power to weight ratio is pretty reasonable. Now, with this engine, you really have to wring its neck to eke the performance out of it though. It really comes on song at a higher rev range, and it's one of those cars that does beg you to thrash it a little bit. And I think if you do that, if you go and actually push this car really towards its limits, then you find that it's a really enjoyable and actually quite a thrilling driving experience. It gets you involved, it makes you want to push the car a little bit harder, makes you want to squeeze every little last bit of performance out of it. And for me, that's exactly how a car should work. You should really want to go and push the car. In terms of the overall build quality of it, it is what it is. It's actually not bad. Corrosion wise, there's no real issues with it. There's not a lot of massive issues with the car. In terms of maintenance moving forwards, obviously standard maintenance should be done as with any car, and if you stay on top of that, I think these things are pretty robust. Belts, a lot of people talk about the belts on the Clios and the dephaser pulleys, etc., and you know, between the Clios, the Twingo and the Meganes, they're not really as complicated as people make out. But yes, getting the belts done at some stage is obviously an important service item. These are relatively cheap to insure, unless you're a really young driver, in which case they're still going to be a little bit more expensive, but still insurable rather than not insurable, as it would be the case if you're trying to buy something crazy like an RS 265 Megane or something of that nature. So they're a great package and they represent really good used value buys. This car I have got up for sale for £2,500, and at that price it's a ridiculous purchase. Genuinely, this is one of the most fun little cars that I have been in for a long time. This is not a half-hearted attempt from Renault to make a sports hatch. This is genuinely a really fun mini little track weapon. It handles so well, a little bit of lift off oversteer, you can really provoke it. There's nothing to dislike about this, really isn't. The low profile tyres and the tyres that are on this set it up really well. It's got bags of grip despite the fact that they're quite small. I love every single thing about it, I really do. It's awesome.